Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Tuesday the 31st of July. So as we continue through the final part of the month then, what's it got it in store for us today? We've got this bullish pivot swing. We've been going through these, we've seen these many a time with slight triggers and then failures. It's just chopping along effectively. We really do need a bit more sign of a proper trend aside of this sideward trend that we're in, but for now it has pitched up a little bit. I mean, you can see the trend lines here. I'm just looking at the sort of key points. Now we're not too far away from that upper trend line. It may just once again provide resistance. It seems to have got anywhere near that, and it seems to have provided resistance so far. I'm looking at the short-term frame here, shorter, the 4 hourly as well. Arguably there's a bit of divergence kicking in there when you come down to the 60 minutes. As I say, it is a real argument. Actually, it's double top. There is a bit of divergence on this 60-minute maybe. There is the daily pivot below, which may provide support for a buy opportunity. Is the double top too much, and is it going to fail from there and roll over again? Is the bigger question, I guess. The weakness towards the daily pivot is possible, as I said. Aside of that, we'll just have to wait and see. There is a slight hint of sentiment changing from the sort of quite a strong bearish to a slightly less bearish sort of zone on the euro. We'll see. It might start picking up a bit in the bigger picture, but for now it's very difficult to see which way this is going to go today. Statistically, it should go and get that daily pivot. Now, the pound, well, it's the last couple of days, the volatility in it is drying up. There's barely any real significant movement going in it through the last couple of days, and of course, after a period of no volatility, we get high volatility, and sure, we're going to get it. It's just when and which way is it going to go. There's little in the way of clues in the bigger picture. Short time, I mean, the big picture still really is pointing to the downside here. Without any doubt, there's lower highs coming through, lower lows on the bigger picture. This intraday basis trying to catch something from this, where it's just chopping along with a slight rising channel. You can just about pick out on the hourly the higher lows and the higher highs pitching through there. Now, already through into the daily pivot. Now, if we can push through what is a maybe already a broken trend across these highs on this hourly, we could be up for the daily R1 pitching up in that sort of direction, and that would work nicely with the high lows, high highs coming through. There's a possibility. That's not to say it won't just stay in this tight range, break the lows there, head off down to the S1, these prior lows, maybe even more back to the midi there with these lows from Friday. So it's again lacking a clarity in terms of where this market is likely to go. There's always the risk with Brexit chatter, but the market seems to be absorbing that pretty well. Dollar yen, I thought we might have seen a bit more movement through the Asian session, but it's tight. There's very little movement that we can see there at the moment. It's picture wise here, still got some potential downside maybe. Spiky old bit of price action from the Bank of Japan's policy meeting. Basically most of the things have been left pretty much, and the markets have adjusted to that, and well, spiky old bit of action. We'll see how it comes from that. It doesn't really make it, I mean, it's gone both ways. There's no clear direction as of yet. As I said before, there had been a slight bias that we might have been seeing something to the upside there, but we'll see how it pans out this morning. Aussie dollar, some positive data through the Asian session in terms of housing, etc. But I'm just sort of flicking through this quite quickly. Well, it has got an untouched daily pivot below. If the markets start failing over, it could roll from that. Maybe it's a bit clearer than some of the other markets to a degree, bearing in mind we're only running on 2 days information here, and compared to the chop that was following before that. But again, it's got these higher lows, higher highs sort of picture through. Maybe it's got some potential to push on further, but it is very bitty, and again, probably best avoided. Canadian dollar. Now the Canadian dollar, well, again, we've seen a spike up through the Asian session where there was comments of the Americans rejecting Canada in the NAFTA talks. Well, it seems to have been forgotten at the moment, but it's run into its weekly pivot quite nicely from that, and it's rejecting and erring to the downside here, and it may be that this follows through. It's already done the daily, the weekly, all in one shot there over the day. So far, maybe it will roll back, but again, well, I say again, here the pictures, they've got the lower highs, lower lows on the 4-hourly, and it may favour that downside and continued downside. Certainly from the 4-hourlies, the daily is the same. It's got the lower high in, it's broken through the trend that was sitting there. As I said, these may just favour more downside yet. So another bitty morning. Data to come out now from what's up next. Well, we've got the Spanish GDP at 8 o'clock. That's not much of a mover. And that leaves us through. We've got this CPI data flash estimate at 10 o'clock, and the figures for the euro, but the data's a lot of inflation data's already been released on that, so we'll see. They still may get a bit of action there around 10 o'clock for Europe. Europe for the euro even. Thereafter we got some core PCE price index, personal consumption expenditure, I believe that is, for the US market. So we'll see 130 if we start seeing the trackings of some brighter news, because as they spend more, obviously the more likely it will help the economy. I'm sorry, I'm just looking through here. Nothing much more until we get the employment numbers on New Zealand, then at 11:45 p.m. and I won't be sitting up for that one. So that's it. Pretty thin on the cards there in terms of data. There you go. Have a great one. I'll catch you later. Bye for now.